So we've had a banner announced that's coming in the next, actually the next day, August 9th is when the banner starts, and it's got Garcia and Nungal on it, and she looks really cool. She's got a sniper rifle. I might have to try to pull for her just because she looks so dope. But today we're going to talk about Garcia. This is hopefully going to help you decide whether or not you want to try to pull for Garcia. If you've been following my videos at all, you'll know that I pulled Garcia pretty early in the life of my account, and I've been such a fan. She has been such a cool champ, so I'm gonna try to make a case for her today, and again, just kind of help you gather some information on her, decide if you want to summon for her or not. We'll go through and talk about her trait, her skills, how I've geared her, how I'm using her, some other ways to potentially use her, and then we'll jump into a battle or two and let you see what she looks like in action. Because again, I'm a big fan of her. I don't know where she falls on official tier list or anything. But if it's not pretty high, I think that's criminal because she's a really dope champ. So her trait, at the start of the turn, Garcia gains 1 stack of rotational acceleration up to 6 stacks. When reaching 3 stacks, increases crit by 15%. So she puts 1 stack of this on herself at the beginning of every turn, and it buffs her attack and defense. And then again, when she gets to 3 stacks, she gets 15% crit rate. So pretty solid, right? She's just every time she gets a turn, she's making herself a little bit stronger. As far as her skills go, lots of really cool stuff in here. We'll talk about what I've done and why I chose to go the way I've gone. And then, you know, the possibilities for the other skills. So, for rank 1, I went with Lock On. At the start of the turn, inflicts physical defense down on the enemy with the highest physical attack, within a 6-tile radius around the character for 1 turn. So that's a pretty beefy radius. And this is kind of what I want to do with her. I want to run her around on her own a little bit and try to take out the threats. So if they've got another Seeker, if they've got a Breaker, if they've got somebody that's a threat to our team as far as damage is concerned, I want to use her to get them out of there. So I think this is really good. This is really good if you want to run her with your team, or if you want to break her off and run her on her own. 6 tiles is a long way. That's a lot of range. So even if you want to run her off and pick off somebody, if you get her within 6 tiles of them for the next turn, at the beginning of the turn, she's going to put this defense debuff on them, and it's going to make it that much easier for her to get them out of the fight in 1 shot, okay? So that's why I went with that. Alternatively, after initiating an active attack, the character takes 15% less damage, dealing a crit damage. I think landing a critical hit is what it means. Additionally, decreases damage taken by 25% for 1 turn. This just obviously makes her a little bit tankier for what I'm using her for. I don't want her to be tanky. I want her to be a threat, but I also did want to give her a little bit of sustain, which is why at rank 3, I went with Taste of Blood. She dispels 3 debuffs on herself, which is crazy, recovers 30% HP, and gains potential burst lasting for 1 turn, and that increases attack by 20 and defense by 40. And makes it where she can't catch an attribute debuff. So just a really nice little self-buff skill. That's also an instant, so you don't have to burn a turn. That's a very powerful skill to not have to absorb a turn, right? Really nice. Gives her a little bit of sustain, and I can keep her separate from the team a little bit longer before I have to bring her back in to get some support. So that's why I went with that. Now, that being said, Hookshot is a really fun skill. If you've done the campaign, I know in Chapter 4 I've had to do it quite a bit. You break off into those stages sometimes that have like the little upside down magician's hat or whatever, and they're more puzzle stages than they are fighting stages, and you have to use Hookshot in quite a few of them. I think this would be such a cool skill to have in battle. So this one, I think you could definitely go either way. There are so many situations where Hookshot could be great. There's a lot of maps where there's distance where there's a pit, but she'd still be able to reach them over the pit. So if you line her up on the ledge, she could pull them off the map. You know what I mean? You could pull someone out of their formation. You could interfere with what the other team's setting up. Could be a very handy skill. And again, it's also an instant, so you don't have to burn a turn dragging somebody out of position or pulling somebody off the map. So you could drag them out of position. If you've got lock on, they've got the defense down buff. You pull them out of position, run around behind them so that you do extra back damage, and snipe them. You know what I mean? It's really cool. So I think Hookshot's a fantastic option. I didn't go with it, and we'll talk about why shortly, but I think it's a great option. For rank 5, I went Fatal Reaping. It's a reaction, performs assisting attack if any enemy within 3 tiles of a cross-shaped range around the character is dying after being attacked by the character's allies. The assisting attack deals piercing damage equal to 50% of the target's lost HP. It can be activated up to 1 time around. So kind of specific as far as like the range is concerned, right? It has to be a cross shape. So you have to bear this in mind if you really want to trigger this as far as where you're positioning her. But I really like assisting attack. So in most cases, if it's an option for me to take, I'm going to take it. So that's why I went with that one. Alternatively, you've just got a straight up counterattack, which I also think is really handy. When being attacked from the front or side, performs a strike back. It's just your standard counterattack. I think this could be really handy for when you sneak off and try to pick someone off. Maybe you sneak around behind them, you hit them, you get them down to like, 15, 20% HP, but you couldn't quite get the kill. On their turn, they turn around and hit you. Since they're hitting you from the front, you're going to counterattack and you can pick them off. So in essence, you still kind of one-shotted them, right? You take a little bit of damage, but it's not really that big of a deal because you can always run your way back to the team and get support. Or if you decided to go taste of blood, she can take care of herself, again, without burning a turn, which I think is super handy. So that's why I went with that. I just like the assisting attacks, but the counterattack is also a very, very viable option. For rank 7, over here we've got Lone Ranger. When there are no allies within 2 tiles around the character, attack and defense increase by 8% and crit increases by 10%. Excellent skill for a seeker, right? For someone that's going to be running off doing things on their own. This is an excellent skill. There's no reason really not to take this one. Alternatively, you've got Spinning Blade. It's an instant. She selects one enemy within a cross-shaped range and drags them to her side, dealing damage and recovering 2 energy when defeating any target. This is a lot. This is a lot going on. And it's an instant. It's a free attack. That's what's so crazy to me about it. 70% damage is solid damage. And she recovers energy. And it's an instant. So you get to pull someone out of position, do damage to them, and recover energy. If you didn't have enough energy to use another skill that you wanted to use, after this you will. You don't have to burn a turn on it. I think that's so strong, and while it doesn't have the range that Hookshot has, it's still decent enough range, and I think it's pretty effective. And this is probably why I feel okay not taking Hookshot here. I'm probably going to take this skill. As good as this one is, this seems like more fun to me. So this is what I'm taking. Sometimes it's not all about what you think is absolutely the best option. Sometimes you gotta have a little fun. So I think I'm gonna take Spinning Blade because I just think that's so much for an instant. I think that's so much that you're getting to do to not have to burn a turn. So I just think that's gonna be fun. All right. For rank 9, this is an improvement to her basic attack. Deals 100% physical damage and inflicts no passive skills on injured targets before attacking, lasting for 2 turns. Or her single target attack, she hits 3 times, dealing 33% physical damage. When used against an injured target, her crit is increased by 25%. I think you could flip a coin here, honestly. I really think you could flip a coin. I think both of these are extremely viable options. I think this makes it that much more likely she'll kill whoever's injured. But again, over here, you take out somebody's passive attack. So even if she doesn't kill them, they don't have a passive attack for the next turn as well. Their next 2 turns, really. So again, you could flip a coin. I think these are both fantastic options. I don't really even know what I'm going to do yet. I reckon by the time I get to this point, I'll have quite a bit more knowledge about the game. I'll have a better feel for her and what I want to get out of her. So we'll see how we feel when we get her to rank 9. It'll be a little bit before we do that, though. And then for her rank 11, passive. If there's no ally within 1 tile of the target before attacking, inflicts Isolate and Dodge on the target. The effect lasts for 2 turns and can be activated up to 1 time per round. There will rarely be an ally within 1 tile of the target if you're running her off to snipe. You know what I'm saying? In group situations, this isn't going to do you any good. But when you're running her off to snipe their Cole or their Seeker or anybody, maybe they keep their range units back or something, this will be very handy. Isolate's pretty cool too. Isolate, the character becomes immune to allies' aura effects, which I think is pretty dope. Alternatively, you've got a physical damage skill, deals 75% AoE damage to all enemies within a 2-tile radius around the character. Before attacking, she crit buffs the hell out of herself. So, again, it really is going to come down to how you want to use her. I think if you're using her in the way where you send her off on her own to take care of their threats who are a little bit separate from the team, you definitely want to go this route. Alternatively, this gives her some pretty good damage, and the crit bump is huge, especially with the way that she'll be built by the time you get her here. That crit bump is going to be substantial. So again, lots of really fun opportunities in her skill tree here. I think there's a lot of different ways you could do this and use her. For the way that I use her, this is the way I've decided to go, and I'm really excited to get her to rank 7 so that I can start using Spinning Blade, because I think that might be my favorite skill in her kit. I think that's going to be really fun. Now, as far as her gear is concerned, we're obviously still fairly limited in the gear that we can use for her. I've put Newborn Blade on her because, 1, it's what I had, and 2, it kind of complements what I do with her. It increases her HP, so it gives her a little bit more sustain separated from the team, but she also gets a bonus to her attack equal to 3% of her HP. So it's still increasing her attack as well. And again, gives her a little bit of survivability separated from the team. Over here, another instant heals 33% HP, can be used 1 time per battle. She probably doesn't need this, but again, when I built her, I was very limited on my options. So actually what we can do in this video is we can look at some of our new stuff and see if maybe there's something better that we'd rather put on her. Because she's already got a skill that can do this, and I don't need her to have 2 healing skills, you know what I mean? So, because usually the one is enough. I don't even use it sometimes. I don't use any of her healing skills sometimes. I don't even need to. I send her off on her own, I snipe somebody, I bring her back to the team where she starts getting support and stuff. Sometimes I don't even need to heal. So I definitely don't need her to have 2. So this was really just on her because it was the best I had at the time, and it gave her some stats, you know what I mean? So let's take a look at some of this new stuff. When alert is triggered, deals 5% more damage. Moreover, if a foe uses a skill within range of the alert, it will also be triggered. Guards a certain area, casting skills at enemies that move into range. That's pretty cool, actually. Heals the character for 20% in Dispel. Yeah, we don't need that. Increases physical attack by 1 when attacking from Highland. Crit increases by 12. This could be pretty handy, actually. Position of elevation when the character is 2 or more tiles higher than that of the opponent. Actually, can she even hit from there? Or is this better for, like, ranged? That might be better for ranged stuff. I think I'm going to give her this one. This might be kind of fun to mess around with. Yeah, let's give her this one. We'll take it to 20 for now, I think. All right, yeah, we'll leave that there. And then for her Terra Whisper, I've given her Desire for Temperance. At the start of the battle, it gains a physical shield equal to 25% of the character's attack, plus magic attack. The shield cannot be dispelled. Again, just because of the way that I send her off, this gives her a little bit of survivability, keeps her a little bit safer. Now she's got a shield, she's got a skill she can heal herself with, and then she's got lots of maneuverability, and I just thought this was kind of a good way to go. I think there's other options, though, honestly. I think anything, I think a crit, just a standard crit bump could be pretty handy. I think, what else we got? We don't have a lot of options still. We're just getting to the point in the game where we're starting to get our hands on a lot more stuff. So I need to snoop around in here and see. Like, this could be pretty handy because we're really trying to send her off to one-shot somebody before she comes back to the team. This is really not a bad option either. So this could also be something worth considering. As a matter of fact, why don't we? Why don't we do that? Let's take it to 20. See what kind of rolls we get. 11 attack. Yes. All right, let's take that up to 30. Physical attack 8% is a good roll. Let's take it to 35 and see what we're gonna get. Some flat physical attack at 45 though. 45's beefy. We'll leave it at 35 for now. Let's put that on her. Let's make her a little bit more dangerous. Since I'm needing her heals so infrequently anyway, we'll try to increase her threat capacity a little bit. So let's jump in now and just take a very quick look at her in action. I'm not going to make this section of the video too long. I just kind of want you to see her capabilities. I think maybe a better place to do this would just be like where we test the epics is in like level up trial or rank up trial or something. So we'll just jump into level up trial. And I think maybe what I'll do, because these are pretty easy, I think maybe I'll just drop a few members of the team. I'll drop Cole. I'll drop Beryl. Honestly, I'll drop Anana. We'll just run Gloria and Garcia, and I'll just let her run on auto. You can kind of see how she behaves, and the kind of damage output she gets. She's pretty crazy though. She's fun. She's fun to use. So we'll just kind of let her and Gloria do the bulk of the work here. Straight on shot. She didn't even have to run around behind anybody to kill him. Gloria. One of my favorite things to do, I think, in this game is knock people off the map. That's just so much fun for me. What was that, 2200 from the side? And this is a good map, real quick, of an example of like when we get hook. If you get hook shot, or when we get the other, what was it called, spinning blades. This would be a good map to like play around with pulling people off the map if they get into the wrong position and stuff. So she opted for a side attack on her own there. Again, it's kind of hard to fully showcase, and if I take her into a difficult stage where the run's going to take 10 to 15 minutes, this video gets crazy long. I really just wanted more to talk about her, how I'm using her, and what a big fan I am of her. She's still one of my favorite characters that I have in my account, and she's on just about every single team I can put her in. I think maybe one of the weapon trials where melee attacks get countered aggressively, I don't use her in there, but pretty much everywhere else in the game I use her. You see she's still my second strongest champ. I'm investing in her very heavily, so you know, maybe there's better banners to wait on. If you're going by tier lists and stuff, again, I don't know where she falls on a tier list. Maybe she's not going to be part of the meta, but if you're looking for a fun champ, especially if you didn't get Cole and you need a legendary seeker, I think she's so fun. I think she's such a cool option. She's really strong. She's impactful in every fight I take her in. So worth considering is all I can really say. If I didn't have her and I knew what I know about her, I would for sure be trying to get her. I think it's kind of a fun banner anyway, because I think that other champ looks cool as well. But again, if you're trying to min-max and stay in the meta, maybe this isn't the right banner. But ultimately, it's up to you. Hopefully this gave you some information, got you some exposure to her, maybe some information about her you didn't know, and it will help you decide whether or not you want to pull on the banner. I'm going to get out of here. If you guys wouldn't mind liking the video if you got something out of it, subscribe if you want to see more of what I'm doing. Appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you in the next one.